All right, Juice, we record another episode.
We are.
You believe people are still listening to us?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they're smart.
Two podunks, one from Pennsylvania and one from Alabama, right?
Yeah, but they're smart. They know.
You grew up in a small town, Pennsylvania, didn't you?
Yeah, small coal mine town.
Different accents. We just similar backgrounds. Right?
Instead of y'all, we say use guys.
Use guys. And
it's like listening to the Sopranos talk.
What's that beer from Pottsville, Pennsylvania?
Which one? Yingling?
No, the green bottle with a horse on it.
Rolling? Not
Rolling Rock. Yeah. Ain't that from Pottstown, Pennsylvania?
I thought it was from Ohio.
I don't know. I thought it was some up yonder.
Yingling's from Yingling.
Yingling.
Yeah.
Back in my day, I drank a lot of Yingling.
I drank a lot of everything.
I drank whatever was in front of me.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It had alcohol in it. I was drinking it.
All right. So we're going to get started today, but, I've got something to get into before we do this, Juice.
All right. What are we getting into?
So, it's been hard, been a long road, but I finally got my award, Juice.
Woo!
What do you think of that?
That is awesome. It's silver.
And I'd like to thank, my mom, my family for all the late nights.
Yeah.
For all the late nights. And, I'd like to especially say, how do we record YouTube videos on stolen land use?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, he says, get your little award.
Yeah. Get your little award. Thank whoever.
Yeah. Also, what about, I could say free Palestine, but nothing's going on there right now.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
They're still protesting and stuff.
Yeah, I still wouldn't say it.
Now they're on Iranian regime side. They're, people are saying, oh, we're for their Ayatollah.
Yeah.
Why?
He won't last long.
Well, they're down to like the fourth. They're making their way down the list now, right?
Yeah, one gets put in at 9 o'clock, and at 3 o'clock, he's already whacked.
Well, the son that's in now, there's rumors going around about that guy.
Yeah.
They're saying he's injured now, like he's got a messed up foot or something.
Yes.
But they said his dad didn't like him because he's gay.
Yes.
I don't care if you're gay or not, but I know in the Muslim world, it's not very popular.
No, it is not.
They toss you off buildings and you get disappeared and stuff like that. So
he's not going to last long.
I know all these people say that they want Sharia law and all that like that. That's fine.
No, I don't want to hear.
I'm fine as a man. I'm good. But the women, they're not going to like it.
No, they're not. They don't understand what goes on in that country. They haven't been there.
You and I are good,
Yeah.
As long as we're Muslim, we got to be Muslim first.
Well, that's not going to happen. Ever.
They'll have to cut my head off. So
yeah.
But anyway. All right. Yeah. So I got the silver button, 100,000 subscribers.
Good.
That may not be a big deal for a lot of others out there, but for us rednecks down here, it's a pretty good deal.
Right here, that's really good.
You know how much money we make off YouTube?
I have no clue.
Through monetization, $0.
Now, awesome.
We get leads off of there for our business, obviously.
Right.
YouTube's the hardest to monetize. It takes a while, but it pays the most.
Yeah.
Like you can monetize quickly on TikTok and Facebook, Instagram and that stuff. Well, Instagram's Facebook, but you can monetize quickly, but they don't pay nothing.
Right.
They don't pay. They pay chump change. So compared to YouTube. So it'll be about another year before we monetize that, but we're on the right track, I guess.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. But it's all because of you, Juice.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody emailed me and said, who is this? And had your face on the thing. I said, it's this guy.
Yeah. Face for radio.
I said, it's this guy I know. He was homeless. And I brought him in.
Yeah. It's been a long haul, but I appreciate the generosity.
Right. We got a controversial one today. I don't think it's controversial.
I don't think it is either.
I think it's straight up murder.
You could play the devil's advocate on this, but
we're going to throw some scenarios out here while we go through this and say, what if me and you did it?
Oh, awesome.
Okay. But it's the killing of Ashli Babbitt in the January 6th, what they call riot. Yes, there was
the insurrection.
There were some bad people there. Yes. About 6.
Yes.
The rest were just waving flags and hanging out.
Yeah.
And they went into building, blah, blah, blah. Went into an opening, right?
Right.
Another thing that makes me mad is I heard Joe Biden the other day say that all these police officers got killed at the January 6th thing.
No, they did not.
They had heart attacks and strokes and stuff like that. One killed himself or something, which is not uncommon in the police force. I don't think it was because people were walking around the Capitol.
I don't think so either. I think it's because they were mentally unstable.
They had some other things going on.
Yes.
Right? So, because it looked like they were being friendly that day, except for one guy. We'll talk about him.
Yeah.
All right. Want to read through this? This is off Grokpedia instead of Wikipedia. What do you think of that?
All right.
We're going to get bashed for that too.
Yeah, we are.
I don't care. It's Elon Muskopedia.
They'll be okay.
Yeah. The killing of Ashli Babbitt. So the killing of Ashli Babbitt refers to the fatal shooting of a 35-year-old former U.S. Air Force veteran by Capitol Police Lieutenant Michael Byrd on January 6, 2021, amid unrest at the United States Capitol, where Babbitt, unarmed and attempting to climb through a broken window of a barricaded door to the speaker's lobby, was struck by a single gunshot to her upper left chest near the clavicle. Okay. Question right off the bat. Was she the only one trying to come through that window?
No.
She was like 14th.
Yeah.
All these people came through.
Yeah. And you all can watch the video online. You can pull it up and see it for yourself.
They're all laughing and stuff. She was laughing. And this guy stepped up and decided he's going to shoot into the crowd basically and hit her.
But he stood there and waited.
Mm-hmm.
And waited. He picked who he was going to shoot.
I wonder why she was the target, though.
Female.
Really?
Yeah, in my opinion.
I think he just was overcome by events and didn't know what to do and freaked out and shot into the crowd. Shot him in the back.
And I don't see it that way.
Well, either way, you can't shoot into a crowd.
No, you can't. But he stood right there. You can see him in the video. He stood there. Weapon drawn, and he's just sitting there, and he raised it up a little bit, put it down, raised it up a little bit, put it down, and raised it up, and went bang.
Hit her in the chest.
Yep.
Dead. DRT.
Yep.
Dead right there. So I gave a talk at our church the other day about active shooter stuff.
Right.
And we've been going through some training, trying to get some of our guys that don't have a police or military background with the proper mindset and those things. And I've heard some of them say, and they were removed from the security team, that, hey, if somebody comes to that door I don't want, I'm going to shoot them.
Okay, well, goodbye.
That's very broad.
Yeah.
Are they shooting at you or are they pointing a weapon at you? That's the key things, right?
Yeah. Is your life in danger? Is everybody else's life in danger?
They can come walk through that church all they want. You can't just shoot them.
No, you cannot.
You could try to phically remove them as long as you don't use deadly force with your hands.
You can ask them to leave. You can show them where the door is.
You can use physical, what they call retardants. Stand in front of them and those things.
Yes.
I'm good at those because I'm kind of retarded.
Yes, you are.
But this guy did not try to stop anybody.
No.
He shot into that crowd and hit that girl.
He was pressed up against the door right there, the door frame, the wall, whatever that was on his right side. He was leaned up against it.
Mm-hmm. So if people are coming in that building and you're overwhelmed, let's just say you're a police force, you're overwhelmed, you can't shoot into the crowd. You can say stop. You can say all those things.
Pretty much. But
let them get in, and then we're going to lock the doors and arrest all of you if it's that big of a deal, right?
Yeah.
But there were people taking tours in the building. Like, oh, look at the picture of George Washington. Look at this, the rotunda, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was a normal business day for them.
It's just a bigger crowd.
Yeah.
Now, there were some goobers in there that was starting stuff.
Of course. And
the ones that the instigators are still in jail now.
Right.
But this guy, Lieutenant Michael Byrd, a lieutenant, he'd been around a while if he's a lieutenant. Probably got a degree, been around a while.
Yeah.
Got an award for shooting her. All right. Let's put it this way, Jus. If we're at my office right now, if some guy's banging on the door, let me in. And then the door, he knocks it in, comes in and stands in the doorway with no weapon in his hand. We can yell at him. I can physically try to remove him, but can I shoot him in the heart?
No.
I'm going to prison if I do that.
No, you can't.
It's imminence and fear for your life and all those things.
And if you look at it, Lieutenant Byrd was posted up right there, and he had a good post.
Mm-hmm.
He murdered her. That's my opinion.
That's my opinion, too.
He murdered her.
I know it was politically driven and all this stuff, right?
Of course it was.
The loon wing of the Democrat Party, Senator Kennedy calls them in Louisiana.
Yeah.
The loon wing.
Like him.
Pushed it, you know what I mean, and said, hey, we're going to let this guy, he's going to be our hero for the day.
I think they organized it. Mm-hmm. They put their little perpetrators, implanted them in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Instigators.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that set this ball in motion.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that they're to blame for this.
Right. I got a good friend in the Army. He's retired now. He was a colonel. He was in one of my units. Good dude. I hung out with him. But he was just he was a lawyer in the Army, JAG, and he did it on the civilian job too. He's defended some of these people, and he was one of the only attorneys, like the ones that could afford to buy one. The rest of them had these appointed knuckleheads that didn't do anything, right?
Public pretenders.
Yeah. He was, some of them could afford to pay for one. They got him. He's out of Florida. And of course, he pitched fits on TV. You can see him on TV in front of judges saying, why are they being held right now? They let him go because he argued the law properly. Right. Some of them didn't. Some of these people, they sat there for how many years?
Oh, several.
Without seeing it, without a trial, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy talk to me. I remember my little incident in Huntsville. I saw a magistrate within 3 hours. Remember that? I mean, I got in, got booked. I had to sit there for a little while because they had some DUI guys to deal with. But I got booked, and then I saw a magistrate, which is like your assistant judge.
Yeah.
At like 1 a.m. And where's the speedy trial due process when you're up in D.C.? Where is it?
Well, that doesn't take place if the Democrats are in charge of your hanging.
And this is the federal level too, so they kind of do what they want. FBI is notorious. I don't care what administration. They will hold people forever.
They do. They've been doing it forever. Lincoln even did it.
They get away with it. So I'm not sure how. But I guess because there's no oversight. There's nobody to appeal to.
Who's going to do your checks and balances on you?
I mean, the Supreme Court, but it takes how long to get this?
Years.
It takes a while, right?
Yeah.
If you get the money to pay somebody to push it. So.
Absolutely.
It said Byrd positioned inside the lobby to protect evacuating members of Congress. I got some comments on that. Later stated he fired as a last resort after issuing warnings, citing fear for the safety of those behind the door and amid the mob's progress and shattering glass and forcing entry. Okay. Now there's video out there that shows the members of Congress peeking around laughing, and then they go out the back door or whatever.
Right.
They tried to make one of Josh Hawley, the Republican from Missouri, like he was running through the building, but then he went back and it was doctored. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Hawley's like, I didn't do that. He was one of the ones peeking around the corner, like laughing with his phone and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But they made up so much stuff here.
Oh, they got one officer. What was his name? The punk Fanone.
Mm-hmm.
They got him opening the door and letting people in.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a door greeter at the Waldorf.
Is he the one that was hollering up on Capitol Hill?
Yes, that loudmouth coward.
Yeah, he is a coward. But isn't that still around?
Yeah.
We call him Joy.
Yeah.
There it is.
He brings me joy.
It's getting warm outside, so they're getting back around. So
it's all right.
So it says subsequent investigations by the Department of Justice and U.S. Capitol Police concluded that the use of deadly force was reasonable and lawful.
Yeah. How about an outside agency investigate that?
I bet if the FBI would have looked at that, you grabbed FBI agent and lawyer, random ones from like California to come out and do it, they'd have been like, there's no way that's authorized. But they didn't. They got their people that they wanted to give the right answer.
Yep.
The incident, captured on video from multiple angles, including bystander footage, sparked significant controversy, with Babbitt's family and supporters questioning the proportionality of force against an individual perceived as posing no direct threat with a weapon. Critics highlighted Byrd's prior disciplinary history involving firearm mishandling, the absence of a body camera footage, while on official duty. Official reviews emphasized the chaotic context, including the crowd's violent breach and potential for imminent harm to protected personnel. Okay.
It's amazing. Several body cams didn't work that day, or several body cams were turned off that day.
If you're a pet owner who wants real talk on training, behavior, and everyday life with animals, check out the Fresh Patch Podcast. Hosted by Drew and Gabe, we cover the wins, the challenges, and everything in between. So wherever you listen, search the Fresh Patch Podcast, where good pets get it.
Yeah, turning them off it's a little sus.
Yeah,
it is. The one thing I want to come back to here is the proportionality of force. So when you get into a deadly force statement, the legal, whatever jurisdiction writes it, they're all kind of the same. It has a term proportionality in there.
Right.
Okay. Proportionality. Juice attacks me with a stick. All right. And then I fight back with a machine gun. That's not proportional.
No, it is not.
Now, if I fought back if he was trying to kill me and I shot him with a pistol, okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you had a weapon in your hand, right?
Right.
Where people get in trouble too is like bar fights. They get into a bar fight and then they somebody with a bottle or pull a knife.
Oh, yeah.
Proportionality gets them in trouble, right? Because they didn't stop what they were doing when the threat was stopped, right?
Right.
And this is a proportionality thing. So nobody is putting hands on this guy.
Nope.
Nobody was saying, hey, I'm going to kill you, sucker.
Nope.
They're just walking by him.
Correct.
And he decided to shoot a firearm at whatever person came through that window next.
He just, in my opinion, he wanted to be the first one to get that confirmed kill.
Really?
That's my opinion.
We both say he was wrong. We got differing views, which are still good views, right?
He just, I think he wanted to be the man that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it was him being the man. I think it was him being a man that made a huge mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, that was intentional. It wasn't accidental. It wasn't in fear for his life. He murdered that girl.
Right. He did. And you say he was looking for that hero moment.
Yeah.
I think he was overcome by events and just shot randomly into the door frame, and hit that girl. Just see here.
He didn't look panicked.
He didn't. He was just standing there. It's okay if you got your pistol out. You know, show what do you do?
Yeah, use of force.
Talk, show, use, whatever.
Yeah.
It says here, following the breaches at the Capitol's east side entrance to the Columbus doors around 2:12 p.m., portions of the crowd moved westward through the building's interior, traversing the rotunda and proceeding along hallways toward the House wing. By approximately 2:40 p.m., rioters had advanced into the corridor outside the Speaker's lobby, a secured area adjacent to the House chamber where evacuations of lawmakers were underway. So, no, this guy was wrong, but one of the funniest things was that dude with that bull thing, them horns on his head, standing on Pelosi's desk.
The shaman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know shouldn't have been in there, but he had that thing on his head. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But he's been in trouble since.
Well, you have to be able to get picked out in the crowd and say, hi, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has some substance abuse issues. He's been
Sure
in trouble since. But it says here, rioters pushed against the barricades amid chants such as break it down, with individuals using improvised tools to attempt forcible entry. Zachary Jordan Allam struck and shattered one of the door's reinforced glass panels using a helmet, creating an opening through which others began to climb. The group wielded items like flagpoles and helmets, but displayed no firearms. During this breach attempt, with federal charging documents and contemporaneous video evidence indicating an absence of coordinated use of lethal weapons at the door. Okay, there's no evidence of lethal weapons coming through.
Nope.
If you're waving a flag around my yard, and I didn't want you to be here, and I just shot you, what would happen?
That would be a no-no. You'd
be murdered,
going to
right?
jail.
I'd be in prison with Bubba and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you tried to hit me in the head with it, and I asked you to stop and you continued, yes, I can do those things, right?
Right.
But if you're just waving it around, carrying it under your arm.
Yeah, you're at that point, you're just trespassing.
Yeah, you can't kill people for trespassing.
No.
You absolutely can't do it. All right. At approximately 2:44 p.m. on January 6th, Ashli Babbitt, a 35-year-old Air Force veteran, standing 5 feet 3 inches tall. She was a big, scary thing, right?
Huge.
And weighing 115 pounds. Man, she was just a beast.
She was a heavyweight pro fighter.
Positioned herself as the first individual to attempt entry through the shattered lower panel of the barricaded glass door leading to the Speaker's lobby. Video footage captured the crowd breaking the doors and windows with objects, including a helmet and a flagpole, creating an opening approximately 3 feet by 2 feet. Okay, like a hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through which Babbitt began climbing after being assisted by others. Freeze frames from security and body camera video show her upper body partially through the broken window being hoisted upward by two other rioters wearing a Trump flag as a cape. So she was the first one through.
Right.
I said it wrong earlier. I said
partially through.
Yeah. I said it wrong earlier. I said there was more that came by. But U.S. Police Lieutenant Byrd, stationed 10 to 15 feet behind the door with his service pistol drawn and aimed at the opening, fired a single round without issuing an audible verbal warning. That's a problem, Juice.
It's a problem.
In the immediate seconds prior to the shot, as evidenced by synchronized video recordings, bullet struck Babbitt in the left shoulder, causing her to collapse backwards into the crowd. Forensic examination confirmed the entry wound and absence of any weapon on her person at the time. Babbitt was unarmed, carrying no backpack or visible weapons, with her hands reportedly visible, but their exact position, whether raised or gripping a frame, doesn't matter, subject to interpretation from multiple camera angles and witness statements.
See, and that's why I said he stood there. He was posted up. And that weapon wasn't shaking. Mm-hmm. His adrenaline wasn't pumping.
He just thought he wanted to be a hero, right?
I don't care what anybody said. That man stood there and said, first one that comes through, I'm whacking.
I'm going to be Pelosi's savior.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was the Senate confirmation, so it wouldn't have been her. But following the fatal shot fired at approximately 2:44 p.m., Ashli Babbitt collapsed backwards onto the floor inside the speaker's lobby doorway, struck in the left anterior shoulder by a single round from the U.S. Capitol Police Service pistol. Members of the crowd immediately called out for medical assistance, with some protesters approaching to render first aid, including checking for a pulse, attempting CPR, and applying pressure or makeshift tourniquet to stem. You can't put a tourniquet there. But anyways, you can apply pressure.
Right.
To stem bleeding from the wound. The shooting officer radioed for backup and medical support, but no Capitol Police personnel provided on-scene treatment. At that moment, an emergency response team arrived minutes later to take over care for Babbitt. Was loaded onto a stretcher and evacuated. The gunshot halted the crowd's momentum, causing rioters to recoil and disperse from the immediate area of the barricaded doors, with no subsequent attempts to breach the Speaker's lobby. Staff from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office, who had been sheltering nearby, were successfully evacuated through an alternate route and confirmed unharmed shortly after the incident. Well, I'm glad. She was transported by ambulance and pronounced dead at 3:15. This is unfortunate. This guy, one thing, the officer got scared and shot, right? Or you don't think he was scared. You think he was trying to be a hero. Either way.
I do. He wanted his 15 minutes of fame, and he got it.
He's no hero, man. He's not.
Not in my book.
You know how many encounters police officers have a day where somebody does something silly and they don't kill them?
Yes, I do.
10 to 15 sometimes. Been on a busy day, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are going into domestics where people are actually actively punching each other.
Yeah.
Do you shoot them?
No.
Why not?
No.
The rules have changed.
I've rolled up on a scene here in town over trespassers, and I get there. You don't know who's who at 3 a.m.
Right.
And there's a gentleman standing there holding a 1911. I didn't shoot him.
Right. Why not, Juice? Obviously the laws have changed. The rules have changed here since.
Yeah, they really changed.
Right.
Because you can't shoot them like it.
Now he could have arrested her. Why didn't he try to put cuffs on her?
Because he had his weapon out. He had tunnel vision. He had a one-track thought, and that was it. That's my opinion.
Right. She got her hands on the door. We're protecting it. Throw a cuff on her. Hey, come on in. We're going to put you on the floor. You could do that.
Yeah.
But shoot him in the chest. Come on, man.
Yeah. And he did. He posted up and he waited for his opportunity.
And knowing her background, if he'd have put cuffs on her, she'd have stopped what she was doing and said, okay, you got me, kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, you can even hear in the video, you can hear people going, a gun, a gun, a gun, 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 gun.
Mm-hmm. Right. I'm not going to get into the U.S. Capitol Police internal probe because it's bullcrap.
Yeah. That's, I'm going to go out and commit a crime and then I'm going to investigate myself.
Mm-hmm. The U.S. Department of Justice review, completed on April 14th, concluded that Lieutenant Michael Byrd's use of deadly force was lawful and did not warrant a criminal charge.
Not buying that either.
I'm not either. Department of Justice is different, but who was running the Department of Justice at the time? One of those other people.
Yeah. Biden's boy was running it.
Yeah. Critics have questioned the probe's reliance on the reasonable officer standard from Graham versus Connor, 1989, arguing that Babbitt posed no direct individualized threat to Byrd or others, as she was physically separated by the door frame, displayed no weapon, and exhibited no aggressive posture towards the officer, potentially undermining claims of imminent deadly peril. Okay. So I was in Iraq one time. We were doing with high threat. We had a principal in a meeting, right? And we were at the Ministry of Oil and right in the middle of Baghdad, all right? Big old building, sprawling building, where he'd always meet the oil minister. There was these glass doors on either end of the hallway, and we would go in. You'd send two people in to stand outside the door, and then they would lock those two doors. The rest of us would be scattered around the building on the roof and stuff like that.
Right.
All right. We had his security guards come in and try to get in, and we're like, "You're not going in right now until the meeting's over." And they wanted to holler and scream and started shaking the door, right? And we said, "No, don't do it." No, he never brandished a weapon. He finally got the door open, and we finally grabbed him and moved him, and then they evacuated the.
Geez, you didn't
principal at
shoot
the other
him?
end. That's what I'm saying.
Huh.
And that was in a combat zone. Why didn't we shoot him?
Yeah. I'm surprised.
We detained him for about 10 minutes where we could get the principal off the site. But, we didn't shoot him. And then the local police came and got him. I don't know what they did to him, but they threw him in a car. I'm sure they roughed him up pretty good.
Yeah,
So,
they probably just had a talk with him over some tea.
the local police are pretty rough, man.
Yeah.
So they didn't have any criminal charges against him. They had insufficient evidence despite the videos going on all over the place. I think she should have been shot in the first place.
Neither do I.
I think this guy should have had a murder charge put on him. So,
Absolutely.
because you and I would have.
Yes. That wasn't a justified homicide. That was a murder.
Now, Lieutenant Byrd is a black guy.
Yep.
I'm not saying, right or wrong, black or white, but with the political climate at the time, they were not going to convict a black guy shooting.
No.
They were not
But
gonna do
if that was a black woman and a white officer,
it. Mm-hmm.
they'd have hung him.
Yeah, he'd be in jail. He'd be with Sheldon up in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. Guaranteed.
Wherever. I just don't believe it. I think the family got a settlement with a wrongful death lawsuit. I mean, that don't bring the kid back.
No, it doesn't.
She seemed like a good person in the wrong place there that day. But anyway, man, I think it's ridiculous that this guy got away with that.
Yeah, so do I.
But the U.S. Capitol Police Chief, Thomas Manger, publicly criticized the settlement. They got a $4 million settlement, stating it delivered a sickening message to law enforcement by implying there's that big word, vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The lawsuits in high-threat, chaotic environments, potentially eroding officer morale, deterring decisive action in future crisis. So there was all kind of stuff going on in that building with a bunch of other officers.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't shoot nobody.
No, they were letting them in.
They were kind of like, you know what? You guys come in. We got video. We'll come get you later kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you do something wrong, we're going to come get you later.
Yeah.
We had people from here. I'm not going to say any names, but they were up there. They didn't go in the building, but they were just up there watching the thing. And they get visited by the FBI down here.
Imagine that.
They were just standing on the steps, not doing anything. They were just hanging out. And they got visited by the FBI. And she asked me, she said, "Hey, I got an FBI agent coming to talk to me." I said, "You can let them come there, but do not talk to them at all."
No.
And she let them show up, and she asked for a lawyer, and they left. But
of course they did.
They never came back and tried anything
because they didn't have anything. They're just doing a dog and pony.
They'll
show.
try to get you to lie to them too, because it's illegal to lie to a federal agent.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll get you on that. I forgot which one it is, but they'll get you on that. So, all right, Juice, we got our opinion out on this one.
Yeah,
we'll get some complaints.
I was just gonna say there's gonna be some people ain't happy with that.
I don't care, but anyways, that's all we got for this one. We'll be back in some more controversial topics in just a second.
All righty.